This is Saturday afternoon, 12:34 EST. I'm currently in New York, and Ariane is in Edinburgh, Scotland. We're keeping these international conversations with coffee. This is 26th online conversation live stream. I've been holding it since May 2020 as my response to the pandemic. I was trying to stay engaged with people, stay connected, and usually we would go for coffee, we would catch up with friends and just meet or rehearse and practice or jam or see each other, visit each other. And all of a sudden, all of that was gone. So I decided to create this platform where we can informally hang out and share some creative ideas, share some stories, share things that inspire us. These people who I invite, I call them inspiring artists because they inspire me. I look up to them. I see what they're doing. I see that they're constantly improving, constantly trying to push and put out their work out of integrity, work something unique, something pushing the boundaries, something very different from what the world is offering a lot of times in conventional media. So I love to invite these people, colleagues, friends, peers, and ask them questions, see what they're working on right now. What is their source of inspirations? What are the downfalls and good times and roadblocks and how we overcome them? And life is so different. It goes up and down. So just talking about life with coffee. And my name is Simona Smirnova. If someone is watching who doesn't know me, I'm originally from Lithuania. I've been living in the US for the past 9 years, and it's been a while, can't believe almost 9 years. And I'm a jazz vocalist, a composer, a congas player based in New York City. So without further ado, I would like to briefly read about Ariane Mamon. So she's French-American jazz vocalist whose music is highly influenced by Esperanza Spalding and Björk. I love Björk too. Born in Paris, ooh, very fancy. But then later, well, I think you are the very first French person in my coffee conversation. So welcome being the first. Yay. So born in Paris, but then later moved to Boston to study jazz vocals at the prestigious Berklee College of Music. Mamon has fused her mastery of the voice and skill for improvisation and composition in creating unique, ethereal, and electrifying wordless jazz compositions, where she extends her voice as a melodic instrument. I thought this is a really great writer, which actually really represents what you're doing. Her love for jazz composition, classical music, and Brazilian music, in particular, the music of Pat Metheny, John Sibelius, and Milton Nascimento, reflect in her compositional style and process, and are also deeply linked to her spiritually and connection to the earth. As an artist, she refers to jazz as a natural ecosystem that she tries to recreate and regenerate in her music. And you definitely can feel that if you check out her music video, Dangerous Trees, which was freshly released maybe a month ago. Ariane can, I guess, tell more about that. But I'm very, very happy to have her. She's my Berklee friend. We haven't chatted in a while, and we're going to have about half an hour, 40-minute chat online. If you guys are watching from different countries or different states, it's always nice to see people engaging and saying where you're watching from. So if you're in Lithuania, if you're in France, if you're in New Zealand and Australia and Russia, any state in the US, please comment, say hi. And if you have any questions for Yana or myself, you can pop in a question in the comment bar. This all is going to be recorded, and then we'll go on YouTube playlist Coffee Conversations with Inspiring Artists. So without further ado, I want to bring in Ariane right here. Hello.
Hi.
So where are you currently at?
I'm in Edinburgh in Scotland in the UK.
So how is your Scottish accent?
It's terrible.
So
it's so bad. It's terrible. I can't even do it properly.
Yeah. Wow. So it would be actually kind of cool if you would hold this whole coffee conversation with me in Scottish accent.
Oh God, no, I don't want to embarrass and I don't want to offend any Scottish viewers right now. So I'm sorry.
So would you like to just briefly say a sentence who you are and what just like 3 sentences about yourself.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm from France, but my dad's American, and I know Simona from Berklee, and I'm a jazz vocalist and a composer, and I'm mainly interested in using the voice as an instrument. So I like singing with lyrics, but I like to try to use my voice just like composing jazz compositions, and I feature the voice like an instrument. So really exploring all the colors the voice can do, and I love to improvise. So creating all these structures and just improvising and playing with people and connecting in all these different ways and reflecting the creative spirit really and everything. So
Yeah, I always, sometimes social media is a funny thing, but it actually, I love the fact that I can follow what people who actually put out the work out. I really love to see new work out there and people experimenting and doing new things. So I was always kind of keeping an eye on you. So I love the work you practice and daily things you put up, like little practice sessions in terms of improvisation or dance, which was actually new because at Berklee I did not know you were dancing. So this is maybe a nice theme to explore today as well. Yeah. Also, since it's coffee conversations and we are informally chatting, I want to cheers with you. Here you go.
Cheers.
So nice mug.
Yeah.
So if you guys joining with coffee and tea, cheers. Or if, later parts of night is Saturday night, if you have a glass of whiskey, Edinburgh style. So you can have that whiskey in Scotland. So let's go back, Ariane, and tell me a little bit about yourself. Now you're a jazz singer and a composer. How did your musical journey start, and what did you start with? Was it an instrument or was it some other art? How did you get into music and in general overall arts?
Well, the thing is, my dad was always a big fan of music. He played the piano. He would write little piano pieces, and there was always classical music playing at home, always. So I grew up listening to Mozart, listening to Beethoven, learning the differences between the two, and just really getting my ear used to. Actually, classical music is one of my biggest loves. I'm a jazz singer who listens to classical music almost constantly, and I love that I'm not a classical singer, but I use it to just for inspiration a lot. So yeah, and then because he played the piano, he said, oh, you should learn. And so I took some class. I actually started with the violin when I was 5, but obviously I was a bit young and I wasn't really interested. But then I switched to piano when I was 6, and I kept with the classical piano for until I was about 14. And then I wasn't very serious about it. But then when I was about 15, I discovered really rock, and I fell in love with Led Zeppelin. I fell in love with Patti Smith. I fell in love with Yes and prog rock. And I think one of the reasons, and I was already in love with Björk, I had to mention that, but I was interested in really genres of music that would put the voice in a whole other new category, where it wasn't just a singer-songwriter thing. It was like the voice was itself featured as an instrument, and you would just feel like the voice would just end up creating all these incredible colors, and you would feel these transcendental moments where you just like that's what Robert Plant does in Led Zeppelin, just creating these amazing structures and colors. And so that's what I wanted to do. And then from Led Zeppelin, I was really into modal music and improvising with modal scales without knowing what they were at first, but it was quite intuitive at the time. And I was always interested in world music as well, listening to lots of flamenco, listening to African music, Middle Eastern music. And then all of that brought me into jazz, actually, and listening to Flora Purim with Chick Corea and Return to Forever. That was the one thing that just opened my mind to like psychedelic world fusion. And then I came to Berklee thinking I could explore that, but I was still quite naive and young, and I didn't really know how to actually build my sound. So I kind of took it all in. I learned everything I could learn about jazz, even swing, even like all the standards, you name it, bebop. But then, the music of Pat Metheny was the number one music that I was really connecting to, because he featured in his group, I think Pedro Aznar, who is an amazing vocalist. And so in his compositions, there was space for that kind of sound I was looking for, this like melodic instrumental vocal sound that I wanted to pursue and get better at. So yeah, that led me to, in a nutshell, to today, to how I
Wow,
explore.
that's considering the fact that you're still very young. I think I'm much, no, not much, but I'm, because I went to school before Berklee,
Yeah.
consider the fact that you're still a very young artist. That's quite a lot of explore territories already, which is really nice. Really nice.
Thanks.
So your life was in Paris. Were you ever based in the US before Berklee, or you grew up in Paris?
Actually, well, I was born in Paris, but then we moved when I was very like 3. We moved to the suburbs, so it was around Paris. It was around Versailles, around that neighborhood, for the green suburb life.
Of course.
And then when I was 16, I fell in love with jazz because it was very funny. I needed to go to summer camp, and every year I'd go to some kind of music camp in France. And that year there was only space for the jazz camp, and I thought, hey, why not? I might explore jazz. Jazz is a cool challenge for my vocal journey. And I went to the south of France to a place called Barcelonnette, and it was like this intense jazz camp, and at the same place where a jazz festival was there. So I got to meet actually Al Jarreau there. I got to meet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I actually sang for him. There was like a big band, and there was also Liz McComb was there, and it was really intense and amazing. But I also realized I didn't know anything about jazz, and that was a really good challenge. And I remember we had these it was like a little ensemble practice, and we were supposed to improvise. And I was like, wow, I thought I was a good singer, but I can't improvise. I don't know how to do it. I mean, not like this. And it was very humbling. And I remember really it was like falling in love, that feeling of you have a crush and you're just obsessed. I was like, what's C major 7? How is that different from C7? But you said C7 was a major chord, and C major 7 is also a major chord. Why are they different? I need to know. And what is C minor 7? And you have another, I need to know all the chords, and I need to know how they're all different. And it was just like this insane obsession I had. Yeah, and I guess that's how it started. So I was sorry. Long story short, wow, I digressed a lot. I never, yeah, it all happened in France, around Paris, and in the South with that festival. And no, I was never based in the U.S. before Boston, in Berklee.
So how was the experience of coming to Boston and coming to such international school with so many professors and so many different styles and stuff like that? How was your experience of going to the school?
I felt like a tiny goldfish in the ocean. I was very young. I was 18 when I came to Berklee. I had never lived I had lived in England that 1 year, but I had never really lived in the US ever. It was such a culture shock.
Yes.
So much of a culture shock. I assume it was the same for you when you first arrived in the US.
I freaked out. I actually, I didn't understand that I freaked out, but now as I'm looking back, I freaked out.
Yeah. And just identity-wise as well, to be like, wait, but I am half American. Surely I can speak English. And actually, I feel like I wasn't completely fluent when I arrived in the US. Even though my English was really good, I was speaking French most of the time anyways in France. So yeah, it was a big shock. And it was just so much happening. And I felt very, very young and very, very from a different planet, basically.
What from a different planet? What was your major?
Oh yeah, my major was vocal performance. And I was also doing a minor in music theory because I was just really wanting to learn about music theory.
Nice. So if you go look back at that school experience, what classes or maybe professors or classes were the most beneficial and kind of life-changing, if you had any?
Yeah, it's funny because the one class I have, one of the classes I have in mind is this class called Advanced Harmonic Concepts. It really changed my mind. It was so challenging. And at the same time, I hated the professor. He was so mean, and he was actually sexist, and he called us gentlemen a few times when we were like at least 2 or 3 women in the class. And I called him off on that. I was like, sir, you can't say that. Like I raise my hand every day. You see that I am not a gentleman. And he was like, oh, but you shouldn't take it personally. And I was like, well, it is personal. You can't say that. But on the other hand, the reason why I love this class so much is because for me, it was extremely challenging. And I had a bit of a Hermione Granger syndrome of being me. I want to learn. I know nothing. I will learn. I will do the homework. I will. And it really expanded my mind to like how to even hear harmony and understand like, you know, just how to modulate in really cool ways, or how to use symmetry in really cool ways. So it was almost like painting techniques for jazz composition, and trying to see the parallels between contemporary classical music and jazz. So that was one of them. The other one was Marty Epstein was one of my favorite professors ever, and taking her European music history class and her counterpoint class really changed my life. And discovering the music of Steve Reich and John Cage and all of that was mind-opening. So yeah,
that's nice. It's nice to have. There's always a couple of classes or disciplines which stick out in the whole school experience, and it's nice to remember that. Well, a lot of times it is connected with good professors, because I feel like any subject can be carried in a nice and very interesting manner, but really it's not that easy to be a good professor, because you have to put a lot of heart and you have to be so generous year after year after year for each individual student. So I really bow my head to very good professors, and we had those. We definitely had very hardworking, honest, not sexist professors, and some not good ones too. Oh, I remember some of those. So what brought you to Scotland?
Yeah, so good question. So when I was at Berklee, I was having a really bad time towards my two last years roughly. I had a horrible burnout. I think it's quite common at that age, where I was about 20, to put so much pressure on myself. I was like, I'm at Berklee, I need to use this time to do literally everything. And I was pushing myself so much. And that was, for me, that was the norm. You just had to push yourself. But then you push yourself so much that the body just stops. And that was well, anyways, yeah. So it was a big burnout, and I started to miss Europe, but viscerally miss Europe. I was like, everything around me is new. I miss old buildings. Even though Boston is relatively historic for the U.S., but it's not like Europe. I was like, it just looks like a Disney. It all looks new, and I just miss. And so yeah, I miss Europe, and I was thinking. I was finishing my degree and thinking, well, what do I want to do next? And I just didn't know. I was so lost. And because I knew I did want to go into teaching, I thought I should do a master's in something. And because I was so inspired by Marty Epstein and her European music history, and my love for classical music, I wanted to go to university, actually, because Berklee was great in the practical, hands-on music conservatory, like music school kind of life. I wanted to explore as well the intellectual, the academic. I knew maybe in my mind I wanted to do a PhD, but because I didn't know what it was like, I thought, let's do a master's. And in the UK, it turns out you can do a master's in 12 months, just a year. So I thought it'll be intensive, but at least it'll be 1 year. So worst case, it's a bad year, And I applied to London. I got accepted into actually King's College and Durham, which were some really great places. But Edinburgh was something magical to it. I remember looking through Google Images in Boston, Edinburgh, and almost drooling on my computer, like, oh, I want to go there. I have to find a way to get there. And I don't know why. There's this magnetic pull, and it is a magical city. Like, there's 2 extinct volcanoes right in the city. We've got.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like this really ancient castle that stands on an extinct volcano in the city, and then you have the sea right in the back. So actually tonight I'm gonna go to the beach to do some music around a fire with some friends.
Wow.
And it's all in the city, and you don't need a car, and it's absolutely magical to have this opportunity to have everything around. So I thought, I just want to be here, because I might not be here forever. I might move to a bigger city, but let's do it. Let's go have that degree there. And I've not left. So I teach singing at the Edinburgh School of Music, which is, a private music school in Edinburgh, really close to a beautiful loch, actually, it's just freaking, it's like it looks like you're in Outlander or in Harry Potter or whatever. It's right there. And you're like, this is the life I live. It's incredible. And it's not far from Glasgow, which is more active musically as well. So that's exciting. So that's why I came to Scotland.
Yes, that's so what was your master's in?
Oh yeah, I studied musicology.
Musicology. Yeah, that's right. I actually knew that. Yeah. So, well, everyone else didn't know. So that's nice. That's very nice combination of musicology. Actually, I feel exactly the same way because I went through 2 music schools. I studied jazz vocal performance in Lithuania, and then I studied composition at Berklee. But I always felt like a bit I never explored that academic side, which I always wanted. And I always keep it back of my head that I would like to go to school and maybe study like philosophy or aesthetics, something like that, more wide, broad, which is the philosophy of art or history, something like that. But not, no, now I'm feeling too immersed in my New York life. But maybe later, I think I'll go back to school as well. Yeah. So now, out of all these very, academic questions, you always strike me as a person of style. So you have beautiful hair and you always look stylish. So tell me about that.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't expect that.
I was not. It's funny because I think people say this to me and then I just realize it always comes as a huge surprise. I'm like, me? No, I'm not. I don't know. I could talk about this but yeah, essentially I changed a lot ever since I came to Edinburgh, becoming a happier person with myself. And I think one thing that was difficult for me was my relationship to my own femininity. And I grew up in Paris. I lived a very stylish life and wearing nice clothes as a woman. I came to Berklee, which was 70% male, and I realized that it was affecting me, the ways people were looking at me and the ways, because Berklee is very international, it's great, but there's also a very miscommunications a lot because people have different values, different cultures. Some things are appropriate in cultures that are not appropriate in other cultures. And I was young and it just affected me so much. So I changed the way I looked at Berklee, and not by choice really, but because I thought I didn't want people to look at me a certain way. And then after I graduated, I remember feeling, oh, let's buy dresses again. Let's be a woman again. But it was still something that was really, I was at odds with my own, like buying clothes and all of that. And eventually, after a few years in Edinburgh, I healed that part of myself, and through one of my friends actually who inspired me. And now it's like, oh, look at that cool shirt. I got it in a charity shop. And look at his cool earrings. I could have these weird spiky earrings because why not? And let's be unique and let's celebrate our uniqueness through colors, through materials, because it's beautiful and because life's too short not to. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I feel like as we go through life, there's different stages of acceptance of ourselves, and you explore different things. So it's definitely never set in stone in one way or another. And I totally know what you mean about, what's appropriate in one culture is inappropriate, and you're always being misunderstood or, whatever, over understood, something like that, yeah, I definitely struggled with that at Berklee. And I feel like that's why this life after school is nice, because you kind of do whatever you want. Yeah, you create your own surroundings and people around you. So tell me about those spiky earrings.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Can you bring your face closer and show us? It's like a bit of a Björk style, isn't it?
Yeah. So one part of me with like healing the whole, yes, I can do this again. I can be an artist. I can be the artist I wanted to always be, but was too afraid to do it. All of that came through a course I took called The Artist's Way. And it's amazing. And I recommend it to anyone. It's based on a book written by Julia Cameron, who lives in New York, by the way. So you should check her out.
Yeah, I read that book, by the way.
Yeah, it's insane. Like it really changed my life. And it's just about little details, like finding pleasure in small things, obviously, and being like curious about where your artistic child, your artist child takes you. And for me, these earrings, I was like, oh, I'd love to get these earrings that are over the top, not earrings I would wear every day, but earrings for performances or for shows, you think about, oh, I would like to wear this or that. And then I saw this ad on Facebook or Instagram from this shop called 1331. And I was like, I totally want to have this. This looks so cool. It's so weird and I love it. And I want to wear those. And I bought them online. And yeah, I'm glad I'm getting to wear them now. 13,
Yeah, it's
13.
very nice. Very nice. And your hair is just so great. It's so
I love
long and beautiful color. Wow, jealous.
it.
Yes, because you know, hair is definitely something very much connected with femininity, and you know, I think having long and especially red hair. Is it red? It's brown red kind
Well,
of
I
hair.
mean, it's sad because it used to be, I mean, it is red. It's just that it's very, very dark now. And it makes me sad because maybe I'm going to have to dye it. And that's a whole of like, oh, are you a real ginger if you dye your hair? And I'm like, yes, it's just that it grew really dark. And a lot of blondes dyed their hair and they're still real blondes. So I could do that too.
Yeah,
And you
totally.
have to be a real blonde to rock the blonde because your hair color is insane. It looks so good on you. Wow.
Thank you. I never been blonde before. That's one of my, you know, manifestation of freedom too. Is like I never been blonde, and I totally don't look like a blonde person because of dark features and eyebrows and like going in. And I really love it. I feel like, why did I wait for so long?
Exactly. Yeah, you only live once. You can just do it now. Yeah.
Yes. So Ariane, can you tell me? I love your music video. I love that you dance in there. I love the nature, the color there. Could you tell me about the process and how did you come up with the idea? And guys who don't know that and haven't seen the video, go on YouTube after this live chat and type. It's on YouTube, right?
On YouTube,
Yeah,
yeah.
and just find a Dangerous Trees, Ariane Mamon, and you can see it. So tell me a bit about the process of the music video. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I always wanted to have, one of my dreams was to combine my passion for dance and my passion for singing. I started ballet when I was 4 and I did 15 years of ballet in the past, and that sort of came in before the singing. And then of course I knew I was never going to be a professional like ballet dancer, but it's still part of me, and it's still something I do want to express on a secondary level to music because, you know, I'm not a professional. But I was like, it would be great to just dance. And because of COVID, it was perfect because it's like you can still make things. You can still, you know, with social distancing, you can still be on your own and dancing in the outside. It's good, you know. It's not going to frown any rules. So I just went ahead and said, okay, COVID is going to be my year. You know, we're still going to do it. Oh, I need to charge my laptop. Oh no, I should have thought about this.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Take your time. I'll talk about something. So, guys, whoever is watching now, I just want to say what we're doing. If you never seen these shows before, this is my 26th live stream. It's called Coffee Conversations with Inspiring Artists. It's my initiative to stay connected with people who I look up to, people who inspire me. And I do believe that they inspire other people as well. And even though I invite artists because I'm an artist myself, but it's definitely for everyone who is striving to do better, to grow, to develop their craft, whatever they're working on, or if they're not an artist, but they're trying to incorporate some arts. It's always refreshing to see different perspectives. So, all right, you're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so it was always a dream of mine to dance, to have a music video of me dancing on one of my own compositions and just have these two sides of me featured and put out there. So yeah, so I thought, hey, let's do it during COVID because why not? If we can't get gigs, let's be creative, and I'm sure that's what a lot of us have been doing. So I found this. I was looking for videographers, and based in Glasgow or in Edinburgh, I found this amazing guy called Stuart Bredner, who's been working with phenomenal artists, and I contacted him. I told him my idea. I wanted to do something in the studio, but also in the forest. So like both, and like work that as a transformation, start with like academic, more like, you know, traditional moves, and then move into a more spiritual approach in the forest. And I also wanted to choreograph the piece as well. So I was working, like trying to find some moves, remembering my own little diagrams of choreographing things for myself, and practicing outside in the park, getting some weird looks.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, and then Stuart was like phenomenal, and he was super helpful, and he usually works with dancers as well. That's why I hired him. And he was working with this incredible woman called Chrissy Ardrill, and she was there to be an assistant choreographer because like I've never choreographed anything for the video before. I always had like stage in mind, like that's the audience is there, so this would look good facing here, facing there. But it turns out there's some moves that would look incredible on stage, but not so incredible on a video because the camera moves in different ways and just the effect is not the same. So she was there for that, and so she kind of coached me. And I was trialing some movements. She suggested a few that would probably be a bit more helpful for the video. And then that's it. We had one rehearsal. And then the next time we met in the studio, Stuart was there and we were shooting. And what was incredibly challenging, but also really rewarding, is that the way he approached it said, okay, in the studio, we need to do everything in one take. One continuous take. So that means you have to be, I was like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. Okay, I'm rusty. I mean, I'll try. I'm not a professional ballet dancer, but here we go. And we did 3 takes. And I mean, actually, no, we took 4 takes, I think. And then the 3rd take was the one. And yeah, and that was it. And it was really quick. And I was like, that's how you make a music video? Is it really that quick? And he was like, yeah. And then he told me about this incredible place in the forest outside Glasgow that had some waterfalls. And I was like, oh, let's shoot around the waterfalls. But he said, with the light, it's not going to work. But it was in October. And actually, you can't see in the video because all the trees are purple. But actually, the trees were all gold. It was so beautiful. It was this beautiful autumn light. And I was afraid it would be raining because, you know, Glasgow and Scotland, but it wasn't raining at all. It was incredible. And he told me, okay, here, how about you run around this tree? And here, okay, do things, work with the ground, work with the leaves. And it was great. And then he said, how about, would you like to be the trees at some color? How about purple? And I never thought about it. But then he just had these really cool filters. And I thought, oh yeah, that would be so dreamy and like otherworldly. So we did that. But then turns out after the day, he said, oh, like the slow-mo didn't work or whatever. We need to redo it again. So that was like, jackpot, a whole other day of shooting. That's on us. Yes. So we went again, we shot, it was great. I thought we were done. And then I realized we completely forgot to take takes of me singing because I was like, yeah, I'm a dancer. It's like, no, people need to know I'm the singer as well. So I thought, oh God, let's have a last day of shooting where I could pick some bits of the song and just like, you know, like do your traditional music video thing where you just mouth to yourself. And that was it. So 3 days and then it was done.
Wow. I love the music video. I love the transition between studio. I found it's brilliant. Moving from the studio to the trees, it's kind of like entering a different zone, the parallel reality. So, and you are way more raw and animal type of from this academic safe kind of space. So I thought it's really great.
It was really incredible because he had this idea. He didn't know how to do the transition, and he thought, there's a pillar. There's this big pillar in the dance studio, and we can use that, and that can turn into a tree. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. So yeah,
that was very nice. So we're talking about creative things and music. So how about asking you to sing a little bit? Would you sing for us a little bit?
Yes, please.
Yay.
So I was working on an arrangement of Dangerous Trees actually on the looper. The looper is not my primary means of expression of choice, but with COVID, we're trying to be, you know, resilient and independent and work with what we have at home. So it's also a good creative challenge. So let's see if the technology agrees with us. So I'm gonna now switch videos. Yay, hello.
Wow.
I'm gonna switch microphones, I guess, and do it from the looper. Let's just do a little test. Can you hear me here?
Not really. You have to adjust the audio setting. You know the Zoom audio setting? If you go to advanced audio settings and then you choose another input.
Yeah, I did that. Okay, well, let's have a look. Zoom, preferences, audio. Hello. Can you hear me?
No, you're still in the room. So just take a moment and I will pin myself and I'll talk a little bit. So just take your time. Don't worry, test the mic, go for it.
Okay.
because it worked at the beginning. I think that you just whatever is audio interface, you have to oh no, that's the okay, no. That was the microphone on the headphones. So have you gone to little microphone audio settings, and then it says the input, you have to microphone input, use your audio interface.
Here we go. Can you hear me now?
Yay! We got it. We got it.
Okay. So, gonna move this up. Hi, everyone. Facing this way now. All right, here we go. So this is Dangerous Trees with an arrangement with the looper. Dong, de, dong, dong, de, dong, dong, de, dong, dong, de, dong. All right, never mind. Let me just improvise something.
Looper is saying, oh, it's Saturday. Give me a break.
It's Saturday. Okay, I'll just do some improv then. Here we go.
Just sing for us something.
Yeah. Dong, de, dong, 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 da di di, le da di di 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 da di di.
awesome. It worked. Yeah. Very nice. Wow. That was beautiful. That was very nice. Thank you for sharing that. It's so creative. You know, in your write-up, there's so many influences you describe. And if I wouldn't have known you, I would think, how are these Brazilian and voice exploration, instrumental and jazz, how is this all even fitting? But it's actually totally fitting. It's exactly how you are. I could hear some Björk. I could hear, you know, very melodic lines, very earthy too, just like you described. So that was very, very, very nice. Thank you, Ariane.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, we did it.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining me today. Cheers.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me. Cheers, girl.
Cheers. And it's awesome. This is my first French guest and French Scottish guest. So that's very nice. Thank you, Ariane. I wish you good luck with all your projects, upcoming projects.
Thank you so much.
Guys, if you haven't checked Ariane Mamon, go on Instagram and Spotify and Facebook, Ariane Mamon Music. She's everywhere. So you can check out her music and add to your playlist or something. That would be nice.
And also, I wanted to add that I've got some CDs available and I can send it to you. It's my EP and Dangerous Trees is on it. So if you want to buy them, you can go on my Bandcamp. So Bandcamp with Ariane Mamon. Vertical Seas, you'll find Dangerous Trees, you'll find the other tracks from my EP. You can either buy some digital tracks or you can buy the whole CD. I'll ship it to you. So yeah, feel free to do that.
Awesome. I'll add your Bandcamp to the link on YouTube.
Yay, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Ariane. So good to see you. Have a rest of the evening. It's good to catch up with you. I wish you all the best with all the next work and creative projects that are coming.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to seeing your new work as well. Like I'm always following you up on Instagram. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ariane. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.